Oh, back with a flickering. Oh well. Haven't done a brew video for a while, I'm afraid. But we're doing one today. Today is Thursday, the 17th of April. And you'll see from the mash tun, there's not a huge amount in here. The total grain bill for this is just over 20 kilos. Now for 140 litre batch, that's not a lot. I'm attempting a very low alcohol lager, summery lager, and the reason I want to do that is to use up some lemon drop hops which I have kicking around, and the reason I want to use those up is we have decided that this year, when our stock of American hops is gone, we will not be replacing them. And the reason for that is a little quiet personal protest against the current administration in America, especially, well, most notably, their attitude towards what they call DEI, which is diversity, equity or equality and inclusion. And the reason I think that's important is because that is at the very core of the boathouse here, and it's at the very core of what I believe, which is that diversity enriches a culture, and equality is one of the basic fundamental foundations of human existence, or should be. And inclusion, especially for people who are, for whatever reason, socially excluded, is again one of my core beliefs. And as the orange shit gibbon currently inhabiting the White House seems intent with his rich mates in turning America into a fascist state, we are no longer going to be buying American hops. And to be clear, to be absolutely clear, and I think it's important, it's vitally important to be absolutely clear, it's not that I don't like Americans, in fact quite the opposite. I've got some very, very good friends in America and from America who enrich my life in a number of ways. I know a number of medics, I know a number of educators, I know a number of brewers, and well, that proves the Hermes is working. It's obviously dropped below 66. Yeah, super. And so it's a kind of me making a tiny little gesture by not using American hops until something substantial changes, and also it's kind of my message of support to my very close dear friends in America, who I can only imagine how terrible it is for them. And yeah, I've got another bit of news which I'll come back to in a bit, but first I'll just leave you with that we're not going to be brewing with American hops, in support of our American friends and colleagues. Yeah, alright, back soon, I guess. Well, with no fettling, we have a mash pH of 5.3, which is bang on. Time for the sparge and transfer. I really don't know how this is going to turn out. So we'll see. The colour's not bad, but just over, well, a teeny bit over 20 kilos for 140 litre batch. On paper, should say it's going to be very flavoured water, but we'll see. Yeah. So I'm sparging out at 76, just to squeeze that last little bits of sugar out, but I don't want to over sparge it, which is a dilemma because there's only what 50 litres in there, so I've got to chuck another 90, 100 litres, throw it in the sparge. I don't know, this is a sort of experiment which on paper just about works, I suppose. My mind isn't totally on this, I have to admit. Today's Thursday and I've been a bit fucked up all week, and very emotional because Marley, our dog, died on Monday. So cut. Sorry about that. Transfer complete. We're coming up to the boil. I don't know because the camera started pissing around again, so it'll start flickering, I expect. Yeah, it's at 81%. And yeah, here's the thing. It's been a shit week, like losing a close friend. And realistically, I mean, Marley was my workmate. He was here all the time. So horrible, really horrible. Yeah, gonna miss him. Anyway, back to the brew. I'm going to do about a 30-minute boil. I'm going to take it down to about 140, which means it'll be about 130 by the time it goes into the fermenter. Leave plenty of headspace. I did harvest some Nova Lager yeast, but I've fucking no idea where I put it. So I have some Einstein, WHC Einstein yeast, which I will be using for this particular brew. So I better go and have a look at the fact sheet, see what temperature I should be brewing it at, fermenting at, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's go and do that then. These are two 3.5 kilowatt, so 7 kilowatt in all elements, and I'm going to take them out and test them after this because it seems to be taking forever. It's not particularly cold today either. In fact, as you can see, it's a nice sunnier day. Marley would have loved it. So I just want to tell you a little bit more about that. I mean, it was quick. This time last week we was out bounding around talking to dead people in the cemetery. There's several local walks, places where I like to go where Marley could just bound around. The cemetery was one, the meadow, which I think a lot of people who watch this channel might remember, a piece of land which I think they're planning on building on, so at least Marley wouldn't have to watch the indignity of his little romping space being built on. Yeah, so Friday morning, Charlotte got up to walk him as normal, 7 o'clock. Came rushing in and said, "Come, you need to look at Marley. There's something wrong." And he couldn't stand on his back legs, his right leg particularly. So rested him in the living room for a little while, just to see whether he'd pulled a muscle or whatever. And about an hour later it became quite evident that it wasn't. So we took him to the vet, who very helpfully charged us £900 to x-ray him and give him loads of class A painkillers, including buprenorphine, which is morphine based, gabapentin, pregabalin type, gabapentin, GABA as the druggies call it, and a few other, like controlled drugs, such as I don't know. My mind's gone. My mind's absolutely fucking gone. Didn't work really. Left him completely zonked out. So he sat down here. We bought a mattress down. So we cleared shit away, put a mattress here, put his bed there, and just waited to see whether it would get better. And he definitely didn't tolerate the painkillers very well. Come on, boil, you fucker. Completely lifeless, but as always kept a stoic smile. I'll come back to this in a minute. Almost fixed the flicker. Enough taking a while. No, haven't fixed the flicker. Oh well, fuck you. I do like this smell. Right, anyway, back to the story. So what happened? I have to keep having a break because I still get very emotional, and I decided when I was making this video that I was just going to do it warts and all, because I'm fucking human and it's horrible. So we had to, we didn't have to, we were invited to a wedding, our nephew, this weekend, and so we went off to that, and I put one of the new CCTV cameras down, focusing on Marley, so we could keep an eye on him while we was away. And he seemed fine, he rolled over a few times and whatever, on his bed next to the beer fridge, and it's fine. We got back, it seemed okay, so we put the bed out again, gently moved him over from his bed by the beer fridge just to his bed by our mattress, just so I suppose that, get a bit of air to the bed that he'd been laying on all day. He was fine, absolutely fine. That was Saturday night. Sunday night, we did the same. He didn't move an awful lot on Sunday. We managed to get him outside. I made a little kind of like sling to support his back legs, and we managed to get him out for a wee and a poo a couple of times. And he seemed fine, he was a very smiley dog, was Marley. Monday, Charlotte went off to work. I spent most of the day. I had some reading to catch up on, and notes to make. So I put my sort of sun lounger chair next to his bed over by the beer fridge. So I was next to him pretty much all day, giving him sort of like tickles and stroking his head, and he was smiling, and he wasn't eating, he's off his food, but there's some water there and there's some water. Anyway, I had a hearing test booked for the afternoon at 3 o'clock, so just before 3 I checked that he was alright, put some water down, went off for the hearing test, and then took about an hour and a bit, came back, and I think he must have heard me pulling up outside, because he jumped off his bed next to the beer fridge and hobbled over to his other bed next to our mattress. And I came in and saw him, so, "Oh, hey up, Marley, how you doing?" And He's laying down, and he had really sort of quite laboured breathing, difficult breathing. So I went over. I'm just going to stop for a bit. Excuse me. I think we have the start of a boil. Hopefully we will not have the hot break from hell where it ends up all over the floor. Oh dear, excuse me. I love this bit. It's really, no, not sure what the term is. Therapeutic. Lovely. I shall get. Oops. Not much of a filmmaker, I'm sorry. I will get the stirry stick just to give it a bit of a helping hand so we don't have a boily over. Isn't that lovely? We have a boil, boys and girls. Right, let's plonk that back in there. Beautiful. Right, so first hop addition is going to be 100 grams of lemon drop. Now these are only 5% alpha acids, so it's not going to be massively bitter, but it'll impart a little bit. I think the profile for lemon drop is kind of like, well, obviously lemon, also a little bit of kind of like mint, green tea. So it should be a reasonably refreshing lager. I'm aiming anywhere, because I don't know what the characteristic of that Einstein yeast is. I'm only aiming anywhere 3.4 to 4.2 will do me. I was bang on with my assessment for the pre-boil gravity of 1.03, which was a guess, and it was spot on. If only it always worked that way. So there we are, we have a nice boil. Boiling, give that, I don't know, 30 odd minutes, and then see where we're at. Isn't that lovely? Just check my notes, it's a 40-minute boil. So I've put the 20-minute hop addition in. So we started off with 100 of lemon drop, then 150 of lemon drop at 20 minutes, and there's going to be 170 goes in at flame out. What am I doing here? What am I doing here? I'm taking from the bottom into the pump, out of the pump, through the heat exchanger, out of the heat exchanger, going all the way down there, then all the way back through here. And that's let me tell you something about these heat exchangers. No matter how clean you think they are, they're not. This is above anything else, above and beyond anything else that I clean stupidly seriously. That really gets the business. So I'm going to get some Cosgleam and use that probably once a month. Got to be careful because it breaks down the way that these plates in here are joined. Unlike this heat exchanger, where the plates have a neoprene rubber gasket, you need to be careful with it. I think Cosgleam has also got chlorine, which I don't like because it fucks up stainless steel. So and that little heat exchanger has served me well over the years, so I want to look after it if possible. So what I'm now doing, I gave it a good clean earlier, then I chucked some Persil through it, then gave it just a cautionary flush anyway, and now I'm running the boiling wort through it. There's no cooling in there at all, so that has boiling wort careering through it. And I want to check whether I've got the lead for the PT100 in the top of the plate chiller. Let me just check. Well, that was good, although I think it might need a little bit of calibration because it's showing 102.4 when this is at 97.8, but it's gives a close enough representation. So that PT100 plugs into the back of that, the lead comes around here and just into the top of this manifold. So this is just like a T-junction coming off here, and then screw in PT100, and that is detachable. I've only ever found that the once. Keep looking for them to get a few spares, but haven't seen them since. Haven't really looked massively hard. I'm sure Radio Spares or DigiKey or someone like that will have them. Farnell, yes, or even Ali Express. Someone will. Anyway, back to continue the story, and I want to do this because it's important for me to just get it out there, partly so you can understand why I've been so fucked up this week, and people who follow me on Facebook will already know. But anyway, so I came back here after my hearing test. It's another story in its own right, but came in. He was laying over there. He'd managed to move from his bed by the beer cooler onto his bed that was down here next to the mattress that we brought down to sleep next to him because we're up there, and his breathing was really laboured, so I went over and just checked him out. He was drooling a little bit from his mouth and fairly lifeless, really laboured breathing, so I wiped his mouth and stroked him, and then he just died. That huge breath that I've seen a number of times when I've been with people who've died. I was with my father when he died after 2 weeks suffering a really serious a cerebral vascular accident. That means a stroke, and I kind of sensed that my dad was going, so I went over and held his hand just as he went, told him I loved him, did the same with Marley. So I then went up to the office, got my stethoscope just to double check. Also checked for any, shone a torch in his eye. So no pulse, no respiration. That was it. Quick, peaceful, fucking sad, horrible. But if you're gonna go, that's the way to go. Quick, painless, and with people who love you. Yeah. So it's been a horrible week. We are at 40 minutes. So last loss of hops can go in. I will turn this off. And don't know why I just did that. I'm going to start chilling it down. So this is the heat exchanger. The hot water goes in here and out there. Cold water goes in there, in there, and comes out here through the hose and into the canal. And let's see what it does to the temperature. Super. So, just to explain, I haven't actually got it round the right way, because that should be the output, and that's currently coming out of there, so these are round the wrong way. But my mind hasn't actually been on it, has it? Looks a nice enough colour though, so we shall see. I'm going to drop it down, keep dropping it down. I should really swap them round, but I'm not going to. I'm going to see how much I can drop that just normatively by running it through the plate chiller. We know that going into it at the moment is about 90 degrees, so I've dropped the main bulk of that down, so I can run it for about 10 minutes and then pop it into, well, I'll let it do it, I'll let it stand. I'll pop the lid on. It's probably a good idea. Can I do this without? Oh, fucking hell. I'll do it when I've got two hands. I'll plonk the lid on, let it cool down, give it 20 minutes with that hop stand, and then plonk it into the fermenter. Well, the fact sheet for the yeast says between 100 and 150 grams per hectolitre. I'm going to put 200 grams in, and then the fermentation temperature range is between 9 and 16. Well, that's okay. I'm probably going to go around 12, maybe 13 or 14, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how we go. Yeah, unfortunately this is how the whole sheet printed out, so WHC, you might want to think about the pagination. Now, given this is the temperature going into the plate chiller, I'm actually quite happy that even though I've obviously, like a dickhead, put it round the wrong way, I'm going to give it another 10 minutes and then just straight into the fermenter. So why did I want to tell you all about Marley today? Well, A, because it's important to me. B, I always tell the family and friends of patients who've lost a loved one, and for me, I have lost a loved one. I'm grieving really badly, but I always tell them it's okay to talk about it, and it's okay to own it, to be honest and be open about it. And it hasn't really hit me yet. I'm always on the verge of breaking down in tears, but it just doesn't happen. Part of that's, I suppose, being a bloke, but also it's because I care, and I think the thing that really prompted my not wanting to use any more American hops while we have this terrible situation in America, and the whole thing about DEI, you know, diversity and equality, equity and inclusion. And I think very much about Professor Stephen Hawking, who was possibly one of the greatest minds and astrophysicist and theoretical physicist, the greatest minds the world has ever had. And because of his condition, he couldn't talk, couldn't feed himself, couldn't wipe his own arse, and he was in a little electric wheelchair with a sort of like electronic voice. If Trump had his way, he probably would have just left Stephen Hawking to die. And I've always said I mean, my two favourite things, which I always try and say, is anybody, absolutely anybody, is capable of doing a PhD. They just need the right support, the right motivation, and they need to be passionate about their subject matter. But obviously, society isn't geared up for that. Education in society really was always just about getting people so they could just sign their name, so that they could sign their timesheets for work and read the safety notices. You didn't want people to be able to think for themselves. So given the right circumstances, anyone can do a PhD. I think I've proved that, and certainly a lot of my students over the years have proved that, sometimes against the odds. I can always tell those who are funded from Bank of Mum and Dad, who've got the new car, and Mum and Dad have bought them a house, and then there's the other lot who scrimp and scrape and save. And I'll tell you the story about the young Scottish student I met while giving a lecture in Los Angeles about 12 years ago. That would be for another time. And the second thing I say is that someone out there has the cure for cancer. I've no doubt whatsoever, no doubt in my mind at all, that someone out there has the cure for cancer. We just need to help them unlock it. And we only do that via education and via inclusion and via affording opportunities and giving people a chance. And at the moment, America is counter to all of that. So to all of my valued American friends, colleagues, old chums, for whatever reason, whether you're educators, medics, brewers, I just don't know what to say. And that even goes for my friends who are Republicans, who voted for Trump, who have contacted me saying, don't identify me, but fucking hell, we're worried now. So anyway, I think this video's really probably gone on quite long enough. I'm going to get that into the fermenter and do a final check-in with you, and wrap this whole thing up. Yeah. It's quite symbolic, isn't it? We're done. We're in here about 125, 130 odd litres, I suppose. Didn't actually measure it because all the markings on these are not very accurate anyway. I've left a fair bit of headroom. And we have a blow-off tube going into just a bottle of Persid 5. And yeah. So we shall see how it goes. Another day, another brew. And I needed to do it, clear my head a little bit. Those who sort of follow this rubbish will know that I don't know. I try and mix interesting stuff with thoughtful stuff. And yeah, this building does seem big and empty, with a great big Marley-shaped hole in it. But to cheer myself up, I'm about to engage in the favourite bit of brewing, which of course is the clean-up. I've already started giving this a bit of a wash down, so I give it all a rinse out, caustic. I'm going to give this a caustic as well. And then give it a spray with Persid, and that's it for another brew day. So lots there. I'm sorry if it's turned out to be a really long one, but I think it was important for me to make it, and I think it's important for me to say to anybody else who might find themselves going through the grieving process, is, for crying out loud, Just don't bottle it up, because it will consume you. It's okay to talk, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to not be okay. And to all my friends in America, I'm giving you a big e-hug, as it were. Everybody else, wherever you may be, don't be like Trump. You take care of yourself and those that you care about. Share a little bit of happiness whenever you can, because you'll get it back 1,000-fold, especially from me. So whatever you're doing, please do it safely. Till next time, cheers.
Oh, you're the best friend that I ever had. I've been with you such a long time. You're my sunshine, and I want you to know that my feelings are true. I really love you. Oh, you're my best friend.